What's up, guys? It's William Jones. Welcome to another weekly episode of Building the Academy. This week, for the weekly update on the Academy, we're talking about a few different features, mainly AI, and a couple of different ones. The first one's going to be the CountRetail Vision AI system. At CountRetail, we're able to give you tools and information that you can get from nowhere else. I want to go through and explain what we're actually building for people to understand, so it's twofold. One side of it is the marketing side, is that a typical retailer of any sort, whether you own a car dealership or a jewelry store or anything in retail, you're spending money on marketing and you're trying to generate traffic. And so it goes through and shows the sales. But to understand that the most, we built a system that takes in your Google Ads, your Google AdWords, your Google Analytics, your Meta Analytics, your all your digital advertisements. It gives you a place to understand your budgeting. Input your budgeting for newspaper, TV, out of home, everything else like that. Input your events, your campaigns, and all these different things to go through, and then analyze your marketing. And right now we're working on building AI agents to go through there and actually give you recommendations and help with uploads going into that. So you've got your marketing efficiency there too. But how you market, how it translates to sales specifically in jewelry is totally different. So the Vision AI system on it kind of goes like this. So let's say that we're trying to generate traffic into the jewelry store. The main purpose of CountRetail for me, from the perspective of not just the marketing, is to understand where these traffic flows go in the store. And so like this is about your standard jewelry store design. And for security reasons, typically in this front area, this is like your lower price merchandise. And then typically stores are going to have higher price merchandise, whether it be, let's say, bridals here. All right, let's say this is our bridal, let's say this is our diamond fashion or loose diamonds, and this is something else. So if we're just looking at this from the perspective of, all right, marketing has to get people in here, and then based on marketing, they're either going to come in and say, hey, I want one of these categories. Great, that works great every single time. Or we know from the Academy is that they're going to be shown by a sales associate around here. And so if we get somebody up here in silver fashion in this area, let's say that our average ticket is going to be $300. All right, this is to the front of the store. But if we get people over here, then let's say our average ticket on that sale is $2,000. And so what we're trying to figure out here is this traffic comes in the building, and then how do we influence this average ticket based upon where the traffic is going in here. So the coolest thing about CountRetail is outside the marketing analytics side of it is where we're able to take a specific case or designate cases within your store and takes your existing store cameras, export that footage, and draw zones around this area using our vision algorithm to actually give you key insights and data into where the traffic is going into your store. So what does this mean? We can count how many people come in and out. So the first thing we're going to get is we're going to get traffic in store. All right, traffic in store. Another really cool thing that we can do with this on the front door camera that you can't do with any line break or anything else like that is actually draw a zone of where your sweet spot is in your store. Now this is so important because this is the number one thing on that influences average ticket, is how comfortable somebody gets in your store, and also your bad reviews is how often somebody's standing at the front of your store to greet that customer that comes through. So the next thing that we're able to get just on the front is a time and zone of sweet spot. So think about this. Not only can you see how often traffic is coming in, but we can also see how often we have our staff covering that front door. And then in later renditions, we'll see is how often and how quickly somebody from this zone interacts with somebody walking through. So that's the big difference in going with Vision AI versus just a simple line break, is that data you get just from this front door is unbelievable. The next thing here is what we have in the Academy and the Jewel Link system is the new appointment setting system. And what we're really trying to do with that is we're trying to track how many customers were influenced with the store count, the sales associate is, okay? So how many repair appointments is an associate getting? That comes through integrations with their Google Calendar, sending to customers. It comes with completely integrated calendar booking links to send to customers to set up bridal, to set up repair, all kinds of appointments from here. One thing that we're really trying to do is try and track this bridal traffic. Because think about it this way, is that what we've seen is that the majority of sales associates, if they're trying to fill out bridal forms or if they're tracking their bridal, they really only count about 35% of that traffic coming through there, because to them, only about 30% of that is actually going to maybe possibly take an action, or they really had a presentation on that. That does not, they don't typically count how many people that they have where they show them for 3 or 4 minutes, or they have no idea. Getting accurate numbers of how many people actually go and show bridal is like the number one thing possible, because then if you can get this number and get an actual number of bridal traffic here, then you can go through and compare that to the CRM in JewelLink, you can compare it to the appointment setting in JewelLink, and you can actually get an accurate closing percentage or an actual traffic percentage of your bridal, to not just understand how much is going there, but to integrate that in with your CRM and really good traffic numbers there as well too. So the next thing in CountRetail is actually drawing specific zones in your store. And so this is a cool thing, is for bridal, we can do the same thing. We can count traffic in for your bridal area and time and zone for your bridal area. We can even go as far to count a zone behind there and count how many people are in that zone for team selling, for anything like that. So you can actually get accurate bridal numbers. The coolest thing about this, and why this is integrated in with marketing analytics, is because let's say that on CountRetail you're running a bridal campaign and you're trying to figure out, is your bridal campaign actually bringing in customers for bridal? All right, before then, you just have to go out and look at your sales. You know, sales of course is a great indicator, but it's not the most accurate way of looking at this. So if I'm running a bridal campaign, I want to know how much traffic comes in here. And let's say if I get 100 through the front door, all right, and then I get 60 in my bridal area. That is showing efficiency and actually getting them in and what style of customer you're getting in. And so the whole idea with CountRetail is not to just understand the marketing aspect of it, but it's understanding how the traffic flows, how the marketing, how your sales associates, how everything is influenced inside the store. Because in a jewelry store, you're almost selling 5 different products. Every single product has a different average ticket, it has a different level of expectation, and it's all under lock and key. And so if your associates aren't taking people to here, let's say that you have the best inventory ever in this diamond fashion case right here, but you look on CountRetail and you're seeing, all right, I'm getting 100 in here, I'm getting 60 in here, I'm getting 60 back in here, and you can have more than 100 because we're tracking traffic counts into these zones. But I'm only showing the best inventory in the world with the best margins. I'm only getting a 20 count every single week on that. That's how you really figure out where your real big opportunities are on the sales floor and through marketing, is how the traffic flows are going through your store. This is where aged inventory comes through, is because what we've seen in jewelry, especially in jewelry, and what we're seeing now and more in other industries as well too, is it's the products that don't get shown or the products that aren't seen by customers. And so that's what we're working on here to kind of get that worked out for retailers, specifically first launching in jewelry and then moving to other industries as well. But CountRetail is a really, really cool system.